There's a really big battle coming up between two new professional football leagues in America. Neither of them are the NFL. In 2019, this year, we saw the Alliance of American Football begin its inaugural season. And next year in 2020, again, also in February, the XFL will begin. So next spring, we will have two competing professional football leagues in America. So I want to talk first about the Alliance of American Football. We're going to talk about both leagues, compare them, where's their funding coming from, who is founding them, and really which one do we think will succeed and why. So first, the Alliance of American Football was founded by Charlie Ebersol, who is the son of an NBC television executive, and it was co-founded by his partner, Bill Polian, who is the former Colts general manager. He drafted Peyton Manning. He won a Super Bowl, and he's also in the NFL Hall of Fame as a general manager. Now, some of the names involved in the Alliance of American Football, really big names. They got coaches like Steve Spurrier, Rick Neuheisel, Mike Riley, Mike Martz, Dennis Erickson, and Mike Singletary. A lot of really big names, guys who've been in high-level games at every level of football. The Alliance of American Football is also in 8 different cities: Birmingham, Alabama, Salt Lake, Utah, Orlando, Florida, San Diego, California, Memphis, Tennessee, Atlanta, Georgia, San Antonio, Texas, and Phoenix, Arizona. 6 of those teams do not have NFL franchises. Now, last week, about a week and a half ago, the Alliance of American Football received $250 million worth of funding from Tom Dundon, who's the owner of the NHL hockey team, the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, the biggest competitive edge the AAF has over the XFL is that they started a year earlier. I don't know, though, this is as much a deal as people realize. The problem with this is that you started a year earlier. Congratulations. But I think all it might do is really just level the playing field. The XFL has a massive, massive following. They had one season in 2001 and then disbanded as a league. But what that did was create a really strong fan base that had a yearning and a lot of nostalgia for that league. So their revival in 2020 for a lot of people is an exciting, big event. Some people have no idea what the AAF even is. But those same people damn well know what the XFL is. And frankly, I hate to say this, I like the AAF, but their partnership with television broadcasting this year was weak. It sucked. They have games on channels like NFL Network, CBS Sports, channels that you don't get if you have basic cable. And they also have a website/app. Bleacher Report Live, as a lot of their games are on Bleacher Report Live, behind a paywall. Nobody's going to watch that. It's very disappointing because as a fan of football, I would love to see games on NBC, CBS, Fox, channels I have access to all the time. I have NFL Network. I don't have CBS Sports where I live. I have to watch on the stupid app on my phone. And it's really disappointing to have certain games hidden behind paywalls. So far, the AAF, their inaugural season's going well. They have steady viewership, around 400,000 people for the games on NFL Network. When the rare time they do get games on CBS, they get far more viewers. They had 2.9 million viewers for their first game on CBS. And another game on CBS Sports last week had 1.1 million viewers. But next year, things are going to get much, much tougher for the Alliance. So a year from now, on February 8th and 9th in 2020, the XFL will begin. The XFL is founded and funded by WWE CEO Vince McMahon. He's investing $500 million. Remember all that money Tom Dundon gave to the AAF? $250 million. Woo! The XFL has $500 million. It's also worth noting that their commissioner of the XFL is Indianapolis Colts quarterbacks Andrew Luck, his dad, Oliver Luck. So again, to be clear, the XFL commissioner is Andrew Luck's dad, Oliver Luck. Oliver Luck is a former NFL quarterback. He played, I think, for the Houston Oilers. He's the former vice president of the NCAA, a former commissioner of NFL Europe. He was once the athletic director at West Virginia. Oliver Luck understands what it's like to be an executive in sports. Also, a couple big names involved in their league. Bob Stoops, the former Oklahoma head coach, looks like he will be the head coach for the Dallas franchise. Jim Zorn, the former Seattle Seahawks quarterback, is the head coach of the Seattle XFL franchise. And the XFL is in 8 different cities: Seattle, Washington; St. Louis, Washington, D.C.; Dallas, Texas; Houston, Texas; Los Angeles; Tampa Bay, Florida; and New York City. One interesting thing to me, so the Alliance of American Football's funding, they got $250 million, and it was reported that should last them about 5 years. Now, supposedly, Vince McMahon's investment of $500 million into the XFL should only last about 3 years. The key difference might be, because of this, the timing of these investments. The AAF got their $250 million once the league had already been started. It's possible that the $500 million that the XFL has could be still being used for startup costs. We don't know how much funding the AAF got before their league began. Additionally, I think it's interesting that the XFL is only in one city that the NFL is not. 7 of their 8 cities already have NFL teams. Only St. Louis in the XFL is a city that is hungry for football that hasn't had it before. So you could say, well, it's great. The AAF has 6 franchises in cities that do not have NFL football. However, I don't think it matters that much. What matters, it doesn't matter how many people in the city care about the game. It doesn't matter how many people go to the game. Attendance doesn't matter for these leagues. What matters is television ratings. Who watches? How many ad spaces can they sell? And how big and important are those ad spaces for their football games? Basically, whoever gets a better television partnership in 2020, whether it's the XFL or the AAF, whoever has better TV partners in 2020, that league is most likely to win the war between the two leagues. You got to be accessible, and it should be easy to watch. If the XFL can come out and put their games on NBC and Fox, or put them on a really big prominent network where it's easy and accessible to watch, the XFL will win. The AAF must be really aggressive. Charlie Ebersol better use his dad's connections and get himself in line with a really big TV partner, because otherwise it's not going to work. I very strongly believe it. Both of these leagues will not succeed. Only one of these leagues will be standing when it's all said and done. I think one of them is eventually going to dissolve, and one will be left standing. Whether it's the XFL or the AAF. And honestly, I think the XFL could win. I think the XFL could very easily win this war. They're the more established name brand, and they got a lot of people that care about their organization. I mean, every single time I make a video about the Alliance, I still have a bunch of people commenting down below how much they're ready for and excited about the XFL. Apparently, a lot of people really, really care about the XFL, and that's what a league needs. A new, young, upstart league needs intense, passionate support from fans who wildly will support their league. Now, personally, look, I love the AAF. I'm a big fan of the AAF. I think that they are a players' league, and they're doing a lot of good things to help players get up to the NFL. And I'm a big fan of the NFL. I like that the AAF is playing nice with the NFL, but that is not the brand and the thing that is not the edge the XFL is taking. The XFL is taking a stance. We're better than the NFL. We're different than the NFL, and we're going to take them head on and make fun of Roger Goodell in the process. To me, the XFL feels like it's a Vince McMahon. It feels like Vince McMahon capitalizing on the moment. I mean, if Vince McMahon only cared about players and getting players to the NFL, he would invest in the AAF. But it's ego. Vince McMahon's ego says, I want the league. I want to make all the money and control the league. And I prefer the AAF to succeed. I think that their league and their design of their organization is more player-friendly and more set up to help players get to the NFL rather than compete with the NFL. Either way, whether it's the XFL or the AAF, as a football fan, I'm excited. Look, you can't lose. If you love football, you're going to win either way, because next year in 2020, there will be a lot to talk about, a lot of big storylines to follow, and there's just going to be a ton of football, whether it's the NFL in the early part of 2019 and in the later part of 2019, and then the early part of 2020 is going to be the XFL versus the AAF. No matter what, if you love football, you're going to win, and having a lot of football makes me happy. So personally, if I had to bet, I would actually bet on the XFL. I think the XFL has better funding, more intrigue, and more people that care and are involved. I looked up the numbers. In 2001, when the XFL first started, their inaugural game had 14.9 million viewers on TV. Now, in comparison, the AAF's inaugural game only had 2.9. It could be skewed. It could be different because, remember, that was 2001 versus 2019. And a lot fewer people watch television. People watch things on their phone and watch things on streaming services. I don't know. But if you go on that number alone, I think the XFL could have a lot more momentum behind it than I initially realized. And so I would hedge my bets on the XFL actually winning the war between the AAF and the XFL. My name is Zach Schomler. This is my podcast, Strong Opinion Sports. It is my favorite thing in the entire world. And I want to ask for your help. I want this show to grow. I want more people to watch and more people to listen to this podcast. My dream is to do this show as my full-time job. I want to own it myself. I want to do it on the internet and have complete control. I don't want to do it for CBS or ESPN. I don't want to work for a big network. I want to own it myself. And if you believe in that dream, please do me a huge favor. Help me grow by telling your friends about this podcast. Share it on Facebook, share a link on Twitter. Maybe you screenshot it, put it on Instagram. I don't have a marketing strategy beyond this. This is all I have. You know, a lot of people, one of the most common comments I get on YouTube is, you have great content. We love your stuff. You deserve more viewers. What you should do is you should buy ad spaces on Facebook or Twitter or promote yourself and buy ads. I have no money. I am a broke college kid. I can't buy ad spaces. I don't have money to pay for books. And so my plan, this is my marketing plan, this is my strategy. All I plan to do is put every ounce of effort I have into making the very best podcast I can. I believe if I make a great product that people believe in, that people like, then they will share it with their friends. And so if you agree with that, if you believe in the show, if you like what I do, please do me a huge favor. Tell your friends about it. Help me grow by telling your friends about this podcast.